everyone to Book Talk on Read Alberta. The Read Alberta Book Club choice of the month is a newly published book called Chasia's Enchantment. It's written by Hilda Chasia Smith, who publishes under Hilda Chasia Smith, and she's from Calgary, Alberta. Welcome, Hilda.
I was very thrilled when I received the news that Chasia's Enchantment was the winning title for May-June as a selection for book club. So thank you for having me here today.
Oh, well, you're most welcome. We're delighted to have you here and looking forward to learning more about this intriguing multimedia project, but in one incarnation is a book, Chasia's Enchantment. And the book features, among other things, a number of other things, it features some meditations. And I thought we might open today with just getting you to share with us and read one of the meditations from the book.
I am honored. The meditations in the book also have QR codes that will take you to the narration that you can sit back and listen to the words and music that I created. But now I will read one of the meditations in the book. Guided Star Dream. Sit or lie down comfortably. Be aware of your breath with your mouth closed. Come with me on a journey through the stars on a beautiful, clear night, a warm night in summer. Relax, breathe in, breathe out, slowly, and with each breath, deepen your relaxation just a little more. As you float in the sky, allow yourself to be gently carried by the warm breeze and watch the stars twinkling as you breathe in the beautiful, soft air. And know that you are radiating with those stars. As you breathe in and out, slowly deepen the stillness and the relaxation of your heart. When you are ready, make your way back to your mat, your bed, or your chair, wherever you are. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Open your eyes slowly. Become aware of exactly where your body is and breathe normally. Namaste. The light within me salutes the light within you.
And I feel better already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hilda, how would you describe your book, Chasia's Enchantment?
We are living in times where many of us, before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID, will find ourselves at times where we have stress that is elevated, anxiety. People have depression. Relationships are not always the way we want them to be. We can feel lost. And even when we're feeling really wonderful, is there another level to open up in our hearts and souls to compassion, to love, to purpose? Chasia's Enchantment, I feel, is a book to help bring you closer to your truth, who you are as this incredible being of light, of purpose, and expression.
The very name Chasia, part of your name, actually tells us something very important about you and your life. I was wondering if you would mind sharing with us a little bit about the original Chasia for whom you were named.
Chasia is my middle name, and in the Hebraic, it is Chasia. The root of Chasia, Chasia, is chesed, which means loving kindness, amongst other things. My grandmother of blessed memory had several children. My mother and her two brothers survived the Second World War together with my grandmother. My grandfather had died of natural causes, and he was my grandmother's second husband. My grandmother also had a little girl who died of natural causes, and an older daughter who was not old, but a young married woman from her second marriage. And Chasia and her husband and her two children, unfortunately, did not make it through the war. They had been murdered in the town that my grandmother was in, amongst many other Jewish people and some others. And I always felt Chasia was a name of enchantment. And though I didn't know who this wonderful woman was, that the wonder of being given the name Chasia, which was also uncommon. And I always look at things in life that are everyday and the magic of life. So when Dr. Lorene Sheba, who came to me and asked me to do this book for Durvile Publications, said, "What shall we call it?" Truly, it was as if the universe had said to me, "Oh, I'm going to call it Chasia's Enchantment." So I feel, without even thinking about it, I had actually brought an awareness for the rest of my life into the unity of somebody I was named for and what she didn't get to manifest, and how rich life has been creatively and lovingly, in spite of things that have sometimes been difficult. Therefore, the name Chasia's Enchantment.
Lovely, really lovely. The meditation with which you opened our interview today indeed sounds very much like something I would want to listen to as I prepared to indeed meditate. Um, I understand that you teach meditation and learn to do so from, I guess the organization is called Chopra Global. It was the organization founded by Deepak Chopra.
I did not learn how to meditate at Chopra Center, which is now Chopra Global, though I have been a primordial sound meditation teacher with the Chopra Global and Chopra Center, as it was called now, for over a decade. One of my colleagues is Dr. Sheila Patel, who is the medical director at Chopra, and she and I are friends, and we graduated together. But I became very, very interested in yoga after a couple of car hit and runs that happened when I was in my 30s, and I'd gone to some classes. I did not continue on a whole yoga path until I met Swami Vignanananda, who had come to teach for the Love of Children Society, and my husband, Dr. Leonard Smith, was doing work for the Love of Children Society. And when I met another teacher he sent from India, that my journey to actually become an internationally certified prana yoga teacher and meditation teacher from the international Pranayama schools founded by Swami Vignanananda would occur.
There's several other influences in your writing, but two influences that are definitely there come from your own Jewish tradition, the writings of the Torah and the practices of Kabbala. I was just wondering if you could discuss how those traditions have informed or influenced not only your spirituality, but in this case, your writing.
because I came from a home where creativity, listening to music, I'm blending it, but music from many cultures, including European music, gypsy music, going to synagogue, hearing beautiful liturgy and prayers, and coming from a home that was quite traditional and very, very committed to the principles of the Ten Commandments, Torah, doing mitzvot, which mean good deeds, commandments to do good deeds in the world, and coming into a home where I was born into a home of two Holocaust survivors who were very universal in how loving I felt they were, even though my mother especially was very concerned that the world would open up to a greater awareness of kind personhood, which Judaism is a way of life. My rabbi this week in a class had spoken exactly of that. Many people see it as a religion only. It is a way of life that teaches through Torah and the mitzvot how one should live. So regardless of Christian or Muslim or Jew, Aboriginal or First Nations, whoever you are in the world, there is something you can learn from Torah. For me, I have found that it has been a cornerstone of my life, being born Jewish, but I love the fact that I've been able to explore other teachings. So Torah and Kabbala, the insights of beauty, not as how do I look, beauty of nature, beauty within, being able to look at the crown, keter, the word keter is crown. In yoga, we have the seventh chakra, the crown, that opens to our wholeness and to higher levels of awareness. And as with problems, we cannot solve a problem at the level of a problem. We have to solve it at a level of solution. How do we get there? Getting out of our own way, being able to know that whatever teaching you have that allows you to rise to the crown of who you are so that you can lift yourself will make a difference.
Something else that you also speak of as being an important understanding that is in your work is something you call world wisdom. Share a little bit about that and how you perceive that.
So world wisdom to me is learning from other cultures and studying and experiencing people, staying open. And so though the book is based on the realities as a daughter of two survivors of the Holocaust, my book includes teachings that honor many, many different cultures, different ways of living without spelling any way out. I was hoping it would be like a seedling. So world wisdom, if you're reading about Kabbalah or the Vedic teachings, or you're reading a little about yoga, or you're reading about Judaism, or a poem that addresses Canada with all of her different people in it, being able to know this is a seedling, that world wisdom seedling will open you to possibly exploring more. And why? To bring unity, understanding between one another, rather than fear.
This seems like a good moment for us to ask you to do another reading from Chasia's Enchantment. Would you honor us?
It would be my truly humbled honor, deeply from within my heart. True self-love. True self-love is not selfish. To care for our whole self, every part of us, is necessary to feel whole. In nourishing and nurturing our mind with knowledge, wisdom, creativity, enlightenment, in honoring our bodies with movement, nourishment, exercise, intimacy, sound and healthful touch, in honoring our spirits with nature, precious books, stories, and shared love. We live the selflessness of love, more ready to share it all in joy and gratitude. True self-love reminds us of the other as they are, but a reflection of us whole, fully. I have a poem that I turned to when I was feeling a little sideways. Several weeks ago, there was an event that brought back memories of times past when people in the world, including the Jewish people, have had to deal with, including the Holocaust. 76 years later, we are still dealing with people who never understood what happened to 8 million who perished in a world of only 15 million Jews and 1.5 billion people that are Christian, about 1 billion or more that are of the Indian, as in India, over 1 billion that are Muslim, and the others in the world. It always has been so mysterious to me how important it is to come back to ourselves, whether you are of a small group in some wonderful place in Africa, or whether you are one of the 15 million Jewish people in the world, or whether you are of 1.5 billion or more, how important it is to recognize we are human beings. And how do we share that? In my poem, Music, I turned to it because fear came over me when some things that were anti-Semitic, things that were against people that were of a different color, things that have been in the world that speak to so many different aspects of disconnect rather than unity. The painting that is in the book is gray and white and silver. You may not be able to see the painting behind. But the painting for Music is very colorful. And as an abstract painter, you will find in yourself that the abstraction of who you are in that frequency field of light and energy and information informs your whole being. Music. So when I turned to this poem, it brought me right back to center. And when I looked at it, I thought it was a book that I had written, and it was by my bedside. It's my first Canadian published book. And I've written many poems for many, many decades and used them in my work. But I had this feeling of, let me see if this book really is going to help me to go from, I really feel a little sideways today, meaning I'm not feeling that buoyant crown chakra, which I feel a lot. Music. I listen to the music of life. I hear it in the rests, in the full circle of life, in the reminder of that red blood running through my veins, the blood within everyone who is singing a song of life. There is more to the poem, but I tell you, on my children's lives, on my own hand, on a Bible or any book of meaning, it brought me right back to center just by reading those words and really feeling grateful in that moment to feel faith, to feel centered. And my prayer is that this book will go out to many, many people in the world. If you have friends in other places, it will help you to come home to yourself. I have that as a prayer. And be inspired.
Hilda Chasia Smith, thank you very much for joining us today on Book Talk.
Thank you for having me. Namaste, shalom, om.